Well, among the reaction to the attacks was this. Monuments around the world lit up in the colours of the Belgian flag in solidarity with the victims of the deadly attacks. Vigils were also held. World leaders are now calling for a united effort against the terrorism.
The Brussels terror shocked the whole world, so as international leaders. Reactions have been sharp and emotional, with the French Prime Minister, for example, saying that the continent is, quote, at war. Other Western leaders have called for a united effort against terrorism, saying that democracy will prevail.
These were attacks in Belgium. They could just as well be attacks in Britain or in France or Germany or elsewhere in Europe, and we need to stand together against these appalling terrorists and make sure they can never win.
We can and we will defeat those who threaten the safety and security of people all around the world.
Terrorism will not defeat democracy and take away our freedoms.
In the meantime, Moscow is stressing, as it has previously done, that the key to crushing terror is putting all political differences aside when there is such a strong common enemy.
We express our condolences to the families of the victims. We have repeatedly discussed issues relating to the fight against terrorism, which can only be defeated through united effort.
It's a very busy day in Moscow, with #1 diplomats from Germany and the United States coming to the Russian capital for talks with the Russian president and the Russian foreign minister. Those visits are not directly linked to the Brussels tragedy. However, we understand that, of course, there will be loads and loads to discuss on that. Another chance to agree on a united approach, on a united effort, united strategy that everyone's been talking about.
Syrian people have expressed their heartfelt sympathy for the families of the victims, though some add that it's the West's policy in the Middle East that's led to terrorism spreading all across Europe.
Of course, we condemn these attacks. We are against terrorism and violence wherever it takes place.
What has happened in Brussels is terrible, but now they are living the same reality that we do. What they have done to us had turned against them. It's a natural outcome. Of course, this doesn't have anything to do with ordinary people. It's not their fault.
These terror attacks take place all over the world, in Turkey, Brussels, and of course in Syria. We want the international community to consider the problem of terrorism with the utmost seriousness in order to do away with it once and forever. It has become a global problem, not only a Syrian one.
These are the results of tolerance towards terrorism. I think the Syrian government has often said, and the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has said once and again, and I think one of these times was on RT International in an interview, when he said that terrorism is not something you play with. Terrorism crosses borders, and terrorism will come back and bite even the people who supported terrorism in the first place. So this is part of the narrative of the Syrian government, and so they believe that the attacks in Brussels, the attacks in Paris, and other attacks have all been caused by the situation that the West and regional countries in the Middle East have allowed to be created in Syria, where there is a state of chaos that allowed ISIL to flourish and become the dominant force it is right now in the Middle East.
More news coming your way in 90 seconds. Stay with us.